Hey everyone, it's Paul here. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video to this channel. I've actually been streaming a lot these days, and if you haven't had a chance to catch that out yet, I'll include a link to my channel in the video description. This is only going to be a short video as I'm just kind of using up what's left of my lunch break, but I'm quite excited about this and I just wanted to share it with you all. So if you have been keeping up with what I've been up to, you may know that I've gone somewhat down the rabbit hole of hardware synthesizers. So I have the Roland TR6S drum machine, the MC101 Groovebox, the Behringer Neutron, really cool modular synth, the DeepMind 12, Microfreak, and then I also have some Korg Volcas that I bring in and out of the setup depending on what it is that I'm doing. In order to be using these in such a way that they will sync up with my project so they respond to transport, stop and start, match the tempo, etc., I've had to be doing this in live. And the reason for that is that live allows you to send MIDI clock to each of those devices separately, where Reason can only send to one destination. So you would either have to choose one device that could be synced, which is fine, that works, and you could just kind of switch between, what device you want to record, but it would rule out being able to do things, multiple devices at the same time. Or you'd have to use the MIDI out and through sockets on these devices, which means sort of daisy chaining them together with MIDI cables. You then have to go into each device, configure it to send the MIDI clock on. And not all devices have MIDI out as well. The Korg Volcas, for instance, only have MIDI in. So it's not been possible to do in Reason until I found this workaround. And this might be common knowledge, but it's not something that I've come across. So hopefully this will be useful to somebody. I should just state as well that this is for Windows. So if you do know of any alternatives to these programs that would work in the same way, by all means put them into the comments. So you'll need two programs, Loop MIDI and MIDIOX. Once you've downloaded and installed those, they're both free. You would open up Loop MIDI, and this basically just creates virtual MIDI cables. And then these will appear in any of your music software as a destination or a source for MIDI data. And to create a new one, you would just go in here, give it a name, and then press the plus icon. And then if we go across to Reason and go to Preferences and Sync, you'll see that I'm sending MIDI clock sync to the virtual MIDI cable called To Devices. But you'll also see the test that I just made has now shown up as a destination as well. And then just make sure that send clock is enabled on the transport, and from the Reason end, that's all that you need to do. Now in MIDIOX, you just need to go to Options and MIDI Devices. And then basically you would highlight the MIDI input device, so this is two devices, and click each of the MIDI outputs in turn to highlight them. And what that'll do is you can actually see it here in this port routing display, is it's duplicating the two devices MIDI signal and it's sending it to each of those 5 destinations there. And that is basically it. So if we take a look at the synths, I'm going to hit play in Reason, and you'll see that both the TR, wherever it is, TR, and the MC are going to start at the same time. Now, the really cool thing about that is obviously that it allows you not just to kind of lock in the devices to the tempo, but if they have any performance features on them, such as the TR6S has step looping, the MC has like scatter effects, they will all play in time with Reason Sequencer as well. And just as another sort of quick tip here before I finish, you will find that many MIDI devices will have some degree of latency to them. Haven't really found a way around this yet, not even in live, but to fix it, you would just click on the clip, go into Comp Edit, make sure that Snap is off, and then just manually align the beat to the grid. I'll do the same for the second track, just pull that back a bit. And then if we listen to that against the click track, that should be more or less perfectly in time. And that is how you send MIDI clock to multiple destinations in Reason. I obviously would like to see this as a feature of the program out of the box, as it were. But if you're on Windows, download these 2 pieces of software and you'll be able to do it. And as I say, if you know any equivalents to that in macOS, by all means, include it in the comments. So that's all for this one. As I say, it's a very short one. Be sure to check out the Twitch channel link that I'll put in the video description, and I hope to see some of you there. And yeah, I hope this was helpful.